we have set up a new supercomputing facility, Param Shakti here. This was inaugurated on 3rd January 2026 by Sri Krishnan, Secretary of MeitY. This supercomputer I would like to explain to you a little bit. We have the second largest supercomputer in the academic institutes under the National Supercomputing Mission, which is funded jointly by the Department of Science and Technology and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. And this comes under the National Supercomputing Mission Phase 1. This supercomputer has about 650 nodes and 21,000 cores and 2 into 30 GPU, which is NVIDIA A100 GPUs that are set up. The capacity of the supercomputer is 3.1 petaflop and it takes about 450 kilowatt of power. The infrastructure and the supercomputer together would cost about 90 crores. This supercomputer has been developed at IIT Madras with support from C-DAC. One important thing about the supercomputer is that the motherboard is called the Rudra platform, which is completely designed, developed and fabricated and manufactured in India. And only the processor is taken from Intel. So we are very close to making an indigenous supercomputer here in India because, as you know already, the Shakti processor has been developed at IIT Madras by Professor Kamakuti's group. So very soon we will have the dream of having a chip and the motherboard made in India with the software which is developed using the open source software and Linux would be running on it, making the dream of an indigenous supercomputer in India very soon. Now, in what way is this supercomputer useful? So if you look at the researchers, they are very happy about it because we now have a global scale supercomputer in the country. We have about 37 supercomputers set up in the country under the National Supercomputing Mission, the second largest being in IIT Madras, on par with IIT Bombay. And we are able to now provide the global scale computing to the students and faculty and researchers among our academic community. 40% of this cluster is meant for users outside of the institute, which means several colleges and universities around the Indian Institute of Technology Madras, that is, you can say Anna University, SRM, VIT, etc. These researchers can also use these facilities. They can take a login from us, connect remotely via internet and make use of this supercomputing facility. What kind of domains would be impacted by this facility is actually very large. Starting from biotechnology, drug design, protein folding, medicine discovery and all the way to engineering applications like aviation, aerospace, automobile, nuclear sciences, weather prediction, computational fluid dynamics, etc. There is a large domain of application that can be used on this supercomputer so that their application can run faster and larger programs can also be made to execute on this platform. For the common man, this is going to be useful because, as you would have realized, during the corona, India has developed its own vaccine, and this was made possible because the computational knowledge about the drug discovery was already well developed in the country. And today we are able to expand this through the research at Biotechnology Department and Medical Science and Technology Department through many other diseases that are plaguing the Indian population. We will be able to find solutions for these sooner with supercomputing facility being made available. Another important aspect is that when we do experiments, if we do supercomputing applications before that, we can reduce the time for the experiments. The facility itself is so large that a task that would take a laptop a year to finish could be done just in a couple of hours on the supercomputer. And a task that would fit in 4,500 laptops would then fit in just this supercomputer in a fraction of a second. We could crunch all those numbers. So this is the kind of huge tasks, not only in terms of memory, but also in terms of computational speed that we will be able to run on Param Shakti. So the Indian population has been using antibiotics a little carelessly, and today bacteria are now growing in the country which are antibacterial resistant. So to tackle them, we will need advanced medicines, and for this we cannot rely on experimental trials as it will take much more time. So we will need simulations that would allow us to develop molecules and look at how the microbes would interact with them in the computer and filter several hundreds of such possible cases before we go to experimental trials. And that way the antibacterial resistant problem could be solved much earlier in our country if we are able to integrate the simulations with the experimental research. So very interesting and proud feature about this supercomputer is that the motherboard has been designed, developed, fabricated and manufactured in India For the first time, we have such a large scale supercomputer being assembled out of what is made in India. It's only the processor that has been imported, but the rest of the hardware is all designed and developed and manufactured in India. The software stack is also open source with a lot of libraries that are actually developed in the country. As an example, I can tell you, in my own group, we have developed GPU solvers which are the fastest in the world and are running on the supercomputer right now. So this is the capability that we are able to harness because more and more things are being done indigenously in the country.